So, can you give me... I'm sitting here and realizing that I want to utilize this light while I have it. But I just want to try these 3 sunscreens on. Wait. What is up, Sparkle Gang, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Rebecca, but you can call me Sparkle. Let's get into trying on some sunscreen. I'm going to be trying out these 3 Laroche Posay Sunscreens. Let's get into it. I'm starting out with the Anthelios Clear Skin Sunscreen. It's oil-free, broad spectrum 50, dry touch, so it probably should be matte, and it shouldn't have a white cast. But anyway, we're going to get into the 2-finger rule because that's how much sunscreen you should be putting on. Don't argue with me. I don't make the rules. I just like to enforce them. So we're starting off rubbing it in. The way I like to apply my sunscreen is 1 finger at a time, and then I'll take it in sections so that I'm not putting a glob of sunscreen on my face and trying to work that in. I find that this absorbs into my skin a lot better when I, break it down and kind of do it in sections. The texture of this was really smooth. It made me think of like a nice nourishing cream. See, that's the other finger left, and then I'll take the last finger and then I'll just kind of rub it all over. But back to what I was saying. The texture was kind of creamy, like thick and moisturizing. I can say that for sure. The whole dry touch thing, sometimes with cream sunscreens, they are a little bit slippery. So if you have oily skin, you may not like that slip. But this one doesn't have that. But if I'm candid, I feel like this has a white cast that I was not too ecstatic about. I was actually very sad because why'd I do that? I couldn't even push it into my edges. Like, very sad. If anything, I could wear this up underneath of my makeup, but I do not feel comfortable wearing this in public because why'd I do that? Anyway, this is how it looks. I'm sure that we're all seeing the same thing. So I'm going in next to take this off with my Clean Skin Club Clean Wipes, 10 out of 10. And I'm just literally wiping all of that sunscreen off, especially because I don't want them to transfer from sunscreen to sunscreen. Like, I want every review to be honest. So the next is the Anthelios UV Correct Daily Lotion Sunscreen, Broad Spectrum 50. The Celux B3, I believe is how you say it. Did the 2-finger rule again here, but I kind of feel like I should have did 3 just because I don't feel like there was a lot there. But we're rubbing it in, and already from the start, I love how it melts into my skin. The one I tried on before that, the dry touch, I feel like you were already seeing the white cast, but this one is just giving me a nice glow. It felt so good on my skin. It felt like I had on a really healthy moisturizer. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, this is too heavy or this is too much or whatever. I just felt like, okay, this is very nourishing. This is actually a moisturizer and a sunscreen. So I guess that's probably why it feels the way that it does. So yeah, which I think is pretty cool. I think it gives a nice little glow. The finish is dewy. And then, of course, there's the last finger. So we are going in with that to put it. I also applied to my neck, but I guess you can't really see that part. And please excuse the construction in the background. I am that neighbor. So I think I'm going to call the HOA because, y'all, they're not supposed to be starting work until 8 a.m. And it is not 8 a.m. It's actually 7 a.m. when I'm recording this. And that messed with my workflow. But anyway, yes, the sunscreen looks pretty good, actually. Now, I did not push this into my edges because I just did not want to create something harder to get off. But overall, like, I wear this one, like, outside by itself because it does what it needs to do. Look at that in the sun. Okay, look at the cheekbone because we're looking very dewy, very lifted, very hydrated. And then I'm taking that off. so that I can try on the last one. I was actually very sad to take this off just because it felt so good. Like, this was, out of the three, that was my top. Then I'm finishing up with the Anthelios Liquid Fluid Sunscreen. So this one is mineral. So let's just go ahead and get our emotions ready for what is to come. Make sure you give this your best shake, okay? I did 3 fingers here because it was like the one before that, and I knew that 2 fingers wasn't sufficient. So I was like, let me just do what I know I need to do. And I did the 3 fingers. Now, what I found interesting was, even with this being a mineral, when I first applied it, it wasn't like instantly white. A lot of mineral sunscreens show you that they're mineral within the first 5 seconds. So this one, not gonna lie, I had a little bit of hope that like, okay, it's not gonna be too bad. But it was just very interesting how there was no white cast upon initial application. But we see that soon changed as I continue to apply more. I'm always just kind of feeling some type of way about mineral sunscreens because, yeah, realistically, we all know that like everybody wears it. Here, I was just kind of really looking like, wow, this is really actually pretty casty, and I don't think this is going to work. It's probably not going to work for me. Like, what's going on here? But, yeah, mineral sunscreens, I always get a little confused about like what their purpose is because even though we know it's sunscreen, I feel like the average person doesn't want to walk around with a white cast on their face. Like, that's just not a human experience that I want to be a part of. And I was just covering my face because at this point I was embarrassed. Like, why did it look like that? But it's all good because I took it off and that was the end of that. Definitely didn't put that in my edges because I did not want it to ruin my edges. I just didn't want the white product in my edges. Sometimes it'd be hard to get out. So I just had to cancel that whole thing. But, you know, those were the 3 sunscreens. Obviously, we all know which one was no cast at all. So you can take that and do what you will with it. And thanks for stopping by. Talk to you guys later. Bye.